Rice pudding should be comfort in a cup, creamy, sweet, with tender rice grains and just enough cinnamon to make you nostalgic. Your grandmother could make it with her eyes closed. Those days, they're over. Walk into any supermarket today and you're facing an entire shelf of rice pudding brands promising homemade quality. While you've been grabbing whatever's on sale, some truly questionable brands have been masquerading as comfort food. They're hiding imitation vanilla behind nostalgic labels, watering down milk to cut costs, and using rice starch fillers instead of actual rice. Here's what's gone wrong. One major brand lists water as the third ingredient, not milk, water, and uses propylene glycol in their imitation vanilla flavor. That's an antifreeze chemical in your dessert. Another brand creates such a goopy mess that blind taste testers consistently describe it as tasting like cafeteria paste with a chemical aftertaste. So today we're ranking 8 rice pudding brands from worst to best, because life's too short to waste your dessert on gelatinous disappointment. Smash that subscribe button because we're about to save you from some seriously questionable pudding cups. Brand number 8, Ronaldo's Traditional Rice Pudding. At 98 cents for a 7-ounce cup, Ronaldo's is the cheapest rice pudding you can buy, and boy does it taste like it. Open the cup and you'll find watery, pale pudding with broken rice grains floating in thin liquid that separates when you peel back the lid. There's often a pool of milky water on top that you have to stir back in. The texture is soupy with a soapy, slick mouthfeel from preservatives. The rice grains are mushy and fall apart on your tongue. The dominant flavor is chemical vanilla, specifically imitation vanilla made with vanillin, ethyl vanillin, and propylene glycol that creates a harsh medicinal aftertaste. The real kicker is that the third ingredient listed is water, not milk. Real vanilla extract costs about $15 an ounce, while imitation runs $2 an ounce, saving them 3 cents per cup while ruining the flavor. Each serving has 150 calories and 13 grams of sugar. That's 26% of your daily sugar intake for something that tastes like a chemistry experiment. Ronaldo's exists to be the absolute cheapest arroz con leche option, targeting institutional food service and price-desperate shoppers. They're banking on you wanting arroz con leche badly enough to accept imitation vanilla and watered-down milk. Bottom line, you're paying 98 cents for proof that imitation is not the sincerest form of flattery. Brand number 7, Kroger brand gluten-free rice pudding. Kroger's house brand is what happens when a contract manufacturer bids on price and shaves every possible corner. Multiple blind taste testers describe it with the same damning word, goopy. What you get is a thick gelatinous mass with cafeteria-style consistency that's somehow both too thick and too watery. The texture is pasty with broken rice grains that leave a waxy, filmy coating on your tongue. The flavor is bland with a distinct chemical aftertaste. Here's where it gets tricky. Using rice starch as a thickener instead of actual rice is the tell. Rice starch costs a fraction of real rice and creates that goopy, artificial thickness. Each serving has approximately 140 calories and 15 grams of sugar. That's 30% of your daily value packed into goopy mediocrity. And get this, Kroger doesn't even make this themselves. They contract to the lowest bidder using a good enough to avoid returns quality threshold. At $3.49 for 22 ounces, it's 24% cheaper than Kozy Shack, which sounds like a deal until you realize you're saving $1.50 to eat cafeteria paste. When your expectations are as low as the price, you'll never be disappointed. Brand number 6, Lucky Lau's Gourmet Rice Pudding. Lucky Lou's was born over 25 years ago at a luncheonette in Center Reach, New York. It was voted best rice pudding on Long Island in 2021. So why is it ranked number 6? Because for 99% of you watching this, Lucky Lou's might as well not exist. It's only available on Long Island and parts of Nassau and Suffolk counties. What you theoretically get is pudding made with whole milk, white rice, cane sugar, eggs, vanilla syrup, and cinnamon. The whole milk and egg base creates a thicker, more luxurious coating on your tongue. The rice grains maintain structure without going mushy. They've even created high-protein versions with 17 grams of protein per cup in flavors like pistachio and peanut butter. But the estimated pricing is $4 to $6 for a 6-ounce cup, and it's only sold in Long Island stores with no online ordering, no Amazon distribution, no national grocery presence. The refrigerated product requires expensive cold chain logistics that small producers can't afford nationally. Long Island's best-kept secret is safe, mainly because everyone else is geographically excluded from knowing about it. Brand number 5, Goya traditional rice pudding, arroz con leche. Goya's traditional rice pudding banks on cultural authenticity and brand recognition, but here's the problem, it's too damn sweet. The texture is creamy and thick, almost sticky, from the sweetened condensed milk base. The taste is aggressively sweet with that distinctive sweetened condensed milk flavor dominating everything. Each 4-ounce cup contains approximately 160 calories and 18 grams of sugar. That's 36% of your daily intake, significantly higher than Kozy Shack's 14 grams. Sweetened condensed milk makes this noticeably sweeter than any competitor. At $3.29 for a 4-pack, that's 21 cents per ounce. What makes this particularly frustrating is that Goya has the resources to do better, but brand loyalty lets them coast on an overly sweet formulation. Goya's strategy is pure cultural positioning. They're competing on identity, not quality. For Hispanic households, buying Goya feels like buying authenticity and tradition. When Dulce becomes too dulce, you've crossed from comfort food into sugar shock territory. If this is already saving you from a bad dessert choice, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's next. Brand number 4, Sun Tropics, Coconut Milk Rice. Pudding Sun Tropics emerged as a Filipino-American family company with a mission to fill a market gap, shelf-stable, dairy-free rice pudding. The result is polarizing. This is the Marmite of rice puddings. You'll either love the tropical coconut flavor or hate every fibrous, chewy bite. The texture is thick and coconutty with chewy, young coconut pieces scattered throughout. The stabilizers give it a slightly slippery coating that's noticeably different from dairy puddings. When you bite into a coconut chunk, it's fibrous and chewy, almost like eating shredded coconut mixed into pudding. The taste is intensely coconut forward. This is not a subtle hint, it's full tropical assault. Each serving contains about 130 calories and 8 grams of sugar, actually one of the lower sugar options. Here's where it gets interesting. This is the only widely distributed rice pudding that doesn't need refrigeration until open. At $3.79 for an 8.46 ounce 2-pack, that's 45 cents per ounce. The real genius is recognizing that dietary restriction creates captive customers. Vegans and lactose intolerant consumers can't just switch to Kozy Shack. They either buy Sun Tropics or make their own. That's a monopoly position disguised as dietary accommodation. If you need dairy-free, this is your only real option. Brand number 3, Señor Rico Rice Pudding. Señor Rico bills itself as traditional Hispanic arroz con leche and delivers with remarkable consistency. Made in small kettle batches, this pudding has quietly built a cult following. The signature move? A generous cinnamon dusting on top. As one sporked taste tester put it, I will never eat another rice pudding cup without demanding cinnamon on top. What you get is whole milk, sugar, rice, cream, natural flavors, rice flour, cinnamon, and salt. The texture is creamy with visible, distinct rice grains that maintain structure. The cinnamon mingles with the pudding, creating warm spice notes that balance the sweetness. The cream adds richness without making it heavy. Nutritionally, it's similar to Kozy Shack at around 125 calories per serving, but the whole milk and cream deliver richer taste. At $3.29 for a 4-pack, that's 22 cents per ounce. Essentially identical to Kozy Shack pricing, but with richer ingredients. Food review sites consistently rank Señor Rico in the top tier, with Spork saying it really tastes like something you'd get at a good Mexican restaurant. Like being transported to your abuela's kitchen, minus the 3-hour stovetop simmer. And if you're finding this ranking useful, hit the like button. It really helps the channel cut through the noise. Brand number 2, Kozy Shack. Original recipe rice pudding. Founded in 1967, Kozy Shack has been the gold standard for commercial rice pudding for over 55 years. Despite its corporate origins, it's the pudding that taste tests consistently rank number 1. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When you put Kozy Shack head-to-head against actual homemade rice pudding in a blind taste test, it gets exposed. The texture is creamy and thick with rice grains that maintain some structure, but blind taste testers describe it as goopy and note the rice is soft but broken compared to homemade. In a professional comparison, multiple tasters scored it devastatingly. Tastes artificial, texture is goopy, the flavor is bland but also tastes a little off. At $4.99 for a 6-pack or 22-ounce tub, that's 21 cents per ounce. The nutritional profile shows 120 calories per serving and 14 grams of sugar. That's 70% of your daily value. Kozy Shack's genius is that they're the valedictorian of a mediocre class. They've optimized for consistency, wide distribution, and good enough quality that beats every other mass market brand. The real kicker is that for 99% of consumers, Kozy Shack is the best pudding they've ever had. Not because it's objectively great, but because they're not making their own. The benchmark every other brand is measured against. It's good enough to justify convenience, but homemade rice pudding exposes its industrial shortcuts. Brand number 1, Petit Pot French Rice Pudding, Vanilla. Petit Pot is an artisan dessert company based in Emeryville, California that makes organic French-style rice pudding in small batches. Their bold claim, using only organic whole milk, heavy cream, rice, cane sugar, real Madagascar vanilla extract, and visible vanilla bean seeds, they could create store-bought pudding that tastes homemade. And here's the thing, they actually succeeded, but there are 3 catches. The texture is velvety and luxurious, with rice grains that are tender, yet retain a satisfying bite, perfectly al dente. The taste delivers perfectly balanced sweetness with genuine Madagascar vanilla that tastes nothing like the artificial vanilla in cheaper brands. The price problem, $2.99 to $3.49 per 3.5 ounce glass jar, equals roughly 85 cents to $1 per ounce. That's 5 times more expensive than Kozy Shack. The portion problem, 3.5 ounces, is tiny. The availability problem, only at Whole Foods, Sprouts, select Walmart locations, and natural food stores. And get this, the new paper cup version has quality complaints with K. Reviewers saying it has a flat, almost bitter flavor compared to the glass jar version. But customer reviews use extreme language. I buy at least 5 every time I go. This is the only dessert I eat. My wife has to cut me off. Bottom line, objectively the best tasting rice pudding you can buy, hands down. But at 5 times the price of Kozy Shack, with portions so small you'll want 3, and availability so limited you might never find it, best quality doesn't automatically mean best choice. This is what rice pudding dreams it could be when it grows up, if it had a trust fund. The rice pudding aisle reveals an uncomfortable truth. Most of us are choosing convenience over quality, which is why Kozy Shack dominates despite being goopy compared to homemade, and why Ronaldo still sells despite tasting like chemical vanilla. At the bottom, Ronaldo's uses imitation vanilla and water-diluted milk to hit a 98-cent price point. At the top, Petit Pot charges 5 times more for organic heavy cream and Madagascar vanilla. Here's the practical breakdown. For kids' lunchboxes or quick dessert, Kozy Shack works. If you actually care about what rice pudding should taste like, Señor Rico gives you authentic arroz con leche with real cream at basically the same price. If you're dairy-free, Tropics is your only option. And if you're willing to hunt down premium product and pay for quality, Petit Pot in the glass jar is worth it. But the truth, the best rice pudding is still homemade. Simmer rice, milk, sugar, vanilla, and cinnamon on a Sunday afternoon. None of these brands can replicate that. Hit subscribe if this changed how you'll buy rice pudding, and drop a comment telling us which brand you think we got wrong. Because I guarantee someone's about to defend Kroger's goopy mess in the comments. And honestly, I'm ready for that fight.